Live. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this Tech Tuesday. I'm so sorry about my slight delay. Team and I are working on a project that we're getting ready for SEMA this year, and it gave us a little bit of challenges working on some of the bugs. Thanks to the team at AEM for really helping significantly in figuring some amazing things out because we're using a controller that's never been combined before with a particular onboard charger and BMS and all that fun stuff. It's just been really crazy with we're doing some programming and some development work on something that's never been combined ever on this planet. Olaf 911, greetings. Thanks so much for joining me here on Instagram. And speaking of joining me, friends and family, I have you on Instagram, have you on YouTube Live, on TikTok, and also on the podcast networks all across the board. Do you still offer big D16 Z6 cams? Yes, we do. We're even doing a Vita killer right now as we speak for a client overseas in Germany. Yes, we do. Absolutely. Yo, on EBV Dub, says Fox Design Paul, an amazing individual who's actually helping me with the project card that we're working on all day, all weekend, and finally got it going today. So Paul, thank you so much. Yes, that is a VW EV that we're knocking out, 450 horsepower. We're doing some amazing modifications to the chassis and suspension to make it absolutely fantastic for the client. What was in there before wasn't very robust, and now we're taking it to the next level, so the team and I are very proud to have that come to fruition. King Bisimoto says NBO22. Thank you so much for joining NBO. Appreciate your presence indeed. The Nichols, hey, huge fan. Love you and Netflix fastest car. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts on Porsches? My personal favorite cars at the moment. All my love and positivity to you. Well, the next, thanks for the kind words, and I love Porsches. Right here, next to me right here, the blue car is actually a Porsche 911, a very rare one. The one thing about Porsches is that not only is it a brand that is synonymous with a particular kind of shape, the camaraderie that exists in that scene is unlike anything I've ever experienced. I was talking to not too long ago, Jonathan, who's back here fabbing, about getting Porsches. I was talking to Zach about it as well, getting Porsches. His dad is just, I love Porsches, and the camaraderie is second to none in the automotive community. Now, take that a little step forward, the 911s are absolutely recognizable. Whether you're looking at the slant nose 911s, 930s, to the 935s, to the 911s, from old to new, they are absolutely fantastic cars, and one that has its own shape that many manufacturers try to emulate but cannot replicate exactly. This one is a very special one. It's a 1972 one-year car. And why is it 1 year? On the air-cooled Porsches, there is an oil reservoir for the dry sump system. Yes, these old school Porsches had the very advanced dry sump systems, late 60s, early 70s, amazing technology, right? Which is still modern by today's standards. So it has an oil tank that's on the far passenger side or far right side rear. Now, typically if you have to put oil in or check it, you have to open the deck lid, open the little cover, check the oil or pour it in there. So there was a bright idea of, hey, let's make the oil accessible just like you would a gas door. So the gas is the front, left side, driver's side. Oil door in this 72 was placed on the rear so it could be easy to access and put oil in when you have to. Well, unfortunately, people thought it was a gas door and was putting gasoline in the oil tank. So that was a bad thing, right? So Porsche stopped that in 1972 only, the only year where that happened. Now that makes this car extremely rare, but I have a client who loves what we're doing electrification and wanted to be able to electrify this and allow the opportunity to be really fast, a lot of fun, and zero emissions. So we're doing that to this car. Yes, for you purists, I did ask him, why don't I find you an SC, something more common? And he said, this is my car, I want to modify it this way, and it's here in all its glory. So it's really good, you know? JD Short says, although I'm not a huge fan of electrification movement, what you do piques my interest. Thank you so much, JD Short from TikTok. I appreciate that. And I completely understand where you're coming from, JD, because as I've shared with many people, as far back, or as recently as say as 2018, I didn't want anything to do with anything electric. I had a bank manager friend of mine, a US bank not too far away from here, who came in his Model S and said, BC, this thing's awesome. And I said, I don't want to sit in it. I refused, as close as David and I are, I refused to sit in this car. I didn't want to sit in one. I thought it was stupid. I thought EVs were for tree huggers and people who didn't care about performance. And I thought it was all about not having any soul because I was regurgitating what people were telling me. And I didn't want anything to do with it. until I reluctantly built the K3V, which is represented on my shirt here, and it changed my life. It is the most amazing, awesome thing. And the one we just got together running today is gonna be just amazing, if not more, because it has a conglomeration of everything we learned all these years, which is fantastic as well. But I'm still a diehard petrol head. I mean, even today I was looking at some of the break-in oils that we use, which is this right here. This is a pure break-in oil for internal combustion engines. And this is what allows you to keep your fresh engine build safe and also efficient. You definitely don't want to put synthetic oil into your new engine that you've built. You want to use some type of mineral-based oil that can help with good break-in. You don't want to use regular mineral because most regular mineral oils that are across the shelf don't have enough zinc to keep your valve train protected. On your air-cooled setups, you cannot definitely keep your cylinders protected. You want your bearings protected as well. So this is a Purol SAE 40 single weight that has about 1,700 parts per million of zinc to keep your engine very protected. It allows for very smooth interaction between your cylinder walls and the new rings that you have to help you seal. Literally, I do a dyno session with this breaking in and I'm done. I'm 2% leak down. It's amazing stuff. So if you haven't hit up the guys in Pro, they are offering sponsorships as we speak, so you can hit them up and let them know BC sent you. Here on Instagram is Purol USA, Purol_USA, and just hit them up, let them know BC sent you, and get hooked up with the Purol break-in oil. It's really great stuff. Really, really good stuff. Protect your investment. Definitely worth it indeed. Okay, let's take a look here. Cavolt, what equipment do you use to bend the bend bars? And where do you get copper flat cheaply? I'm assembling my contactor box finally and need to put a lot of 90-degree bends in the short bus bar. Well, luckily for us here in Fab, we do have a finger press over there that allows to bend it. And I bought my copper from McMaster-Carr. So I'm sure there's a McMaster-Carr nearby you. There's one here in Santa Fe Springs. And that's where I found the most pure copper that's very cost effective, or relatively cost effective. So I get the flat sheets, water jet around it, and then use a press bender to bend it, and I'm good to go. So hope that helps. Indeed, Cobalt, who's a fellow engineer, also building some really cool stuff. Cobalt, you'll be pleased to know that the Rolls Royce is running. It's great. I'm very excited about that. And we're doing some really crazy stuff. We have, Cobalt, you appreciate this. We have an AM VCU275 combined with a Orion BMS, combined with the AM CCU for both the charging and DC to DC. The charging output, I think I have a limit of 1,380 amps max. And then on the voltage side, I have 14.1 volts coming out of it. And it's amazing. It's really nice to reduce my wiring and have a single pole for both my charging CCU and for my DC to DC. It's really nice to have that, opposed to having a separate CCU pole to charge in and a separate DC to DC to pull from my battery pack. So it allows me to have a more efficient setup, which is nice indeed. All right. Gasket Head says, always a pleasure, BC. Thanks for all the knowledge. Let's go. Thanks for the kind words. I'm here to help. That's why I'm doing this. I want to give back and be there, be that person I needed when I was much younger. Yes, 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 says Fab Garage from, let me raise you up a little bit, from YouTube. There you go. Made you look a little nicer here. I think I do the same thing with my friends on TikTok so I can see what's going on. There you go. Beautiful. So once again, thank you guys for joining the Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. I'm here on Instagram, also on TikTok, on YouTube Live, and also through my podcast networks where you can look up Bisimoto on Spotify. Yes, you can go on Spotify, do a search for Bisimoto, and everything we have that we're doing here together is archived in a wonderful moment here, which is good indeed, you know? What happened to the dude in Ontario that used to make long tube headers? Well, we manufactured it here, but one of our fabricators, Randy, who was very close to me, did pass away from illness a few years back. But yeah, back in the day, we did a lot of cool stuff, and that's us right here at Bisimoto. That's us, you in Ontario. Hello, BEZDC. Thanks for the kind word. Appreciate you. Jeremy Gates, thank you so much for joining as well. Appreciate the kind words. Hey, you're the hard honesty guy, right? Says that sim racer Leo. Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, we took it to the most recent Super Street After Dark 2 weeks ago in Compton, California. It was hot. I had my friend Alex drive the van, and he was living a lap of luxury with a very nice, fun car that had air conditioning while I was suffering in the heat with my K3V that didn't have an AC. That was kind of tough. Travis Cox, good stuff, BC from AEM EV. Thank you so much, Travis. I love you so much. I was talking to Scott a moment ago. We're figuring some things out on a new project, Scott. Help me with. So Travis, you get a kick out of this. I'm using the VCU 275, got everything running with the AEM CCU, which wants to get data from the VCU, but I'm using the Orion BMS as a, how should I say, a command center, because I want the VCU to be off while I'm charging using the BMS to be able to do that. And I'm combining that with a CCS controller from Avantix. So it's a lot of moving parts going on. Oh, and you get a kick out of this. I'm also using the AEM dash as a transmit center to send CAN to my analog digital dashes. Analog, they're digital analog, but mechanically they look analog. That makes sense. CAN bus digital with analog outputs. So it looks like a factory dash in this vehicle. So we're doing some great stuff, Travis. He says, nice, thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. Do you still dyno tune such Fernando 840? Not for street cars. The only dyno tuning we even do here are race cars on a track only. We have to be very careful. We don't want any issues with EPA, none whatsoever. All right, show the blue one, please. Okay, I'm gonna try and switch it around here without messing up my equipment. Right there, it's right there. There you go. There's a Porsche right there. So we're doing a full resto on that, and it's gonna be amazing when it's done. It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, Netflix Nation, amen, MT6MT CLS. Much better, yes. Big up, says YFab Garage. Oh, you came over here from YouTube Live. Or are you doing both at the same time? That'd be pretty hardcore, you know? Share what the Netflix Black Car production is all about, says Olin Zim. It was really good, it was a lot of fun. Now bear in mind that is reality TV, so it's somewhat scripted, but it was really fun. The bad thing is that there were some people who weren't very polite, not from the production side, but people who participated. So, but by and by, it was great. They had great crafty, they took good care of us, they were very, very nice, very accommodating to us, came here to the shop, went to my residence, we went to the park, went to a very crazy airport in San Bernardino. It was fun, we enjoyed doing that. It was really quite a few years ago. I think my daughter was barely 3 and she's like 11 now, you know. Olaf, thank you so much, appreciate your presence. Before I leave this earth, says Hilo FX, said I'd have to meet you before I leave this earth. Thank you, you're very kind. Please, the support. If you haven't made the trip to SEMA, please come by. That place is a mecca, it really is. It's a place to be. It kind of launches our year here at Bisimoto on things that we do and really giving some good exposure for the brand and for our partners as well. It's in Vegas, it's happening between the 4th and 9th of November. If you can come out, and if you're not part of the industry, Friday is a public day. You can come by. I will be there the entire time. I'll be running around. I do a lot of lives to show where I am. It's going to be great. I'm going to do a Tech Tuesday live and direct there as well. So, Hio FFX, come on down. I'll be more than happy to meet you there. Love the two-tone, says Chumbuck ET from TikTok. Yes, that is a 1958 bus. Came in, not really making much of any power. They're typically on the 30 to 40 horsepower range. That 450 horsepower now, and we're doing some updates to the suspension in the front and rear, some airbag suspension updates as well, courtesy of Universal Air, Airlift, and Air Ride equipment. And it's going to be a really fun vehicle when it's done. We're just waiting for the airbags right now. The team did a great job in putting the front assemblies in, the rear assemblies in as well. Everything is beautiful and robust. How this bus came in was not robust. It was far from safe. And when it leaves us, it's going to be absolutely spectacular. So look forward to some videos. We'll probably do some really cool ASMR stuff on this. It should be good. It should be great indeed. So thank you so much. Be Easy DC says, I remember your EF wagon. Use ish on people. Good days. Used to ish on people. Yeah, thank you so much. I have the first wagon, which is a D16 Z6, 720 horsepower setup. Amazing. A little laggy, but fun indeed, and kind of create a whole plethora of parts for the D-Series market. The replacement is a level 2 kind of setup. It is an all-wheel drive sequential gearbox K-Series. We have a new turbo on there. So as we prepare for JCCS in the next month, we're gonna put that back on the rollers, see what it does, and I'll be able to do something live and show you guys the new power with the new updated turbo. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. All right. Oh, so much love here on Instagram. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you indeed. MSPGY says, hey BC, what books and topics can you recommend to look into as somebody who wants to gain generic and basic knowledge in motorsports? Okay, that's a great question. And some of the books I have are oldies but goodies. Now here we go. Power Secrets by Smokey Unick. This gentleman was not an engineer by training, but an experience. And he had so many concepts. He really gave the big three a run for their money as he single-handedly went against some of the big-time engineers in the big three manufacturers out there in racing and beat them so many times hand down. He really took science and broke it down to a level that is just absolutely amazing. And I learned a ton of those, even though you may be into, let's say, European or Japanese cars or Korean cars. This particular text gives information that gives you a very strong basis in everything automotive, whether you're drag racing, road racing, whatever the case may be, and can help you really think out of the box, which has helped me tremendously in my arena. Now, keep in mind that you'll see a lot of things that have to do with carburation and so on and so forth, but it really does talk about the basic entry into everything from fluid dynamics to head porting to camshafts. Really good read there. Easy read. Is not a huge volume of knowledge. No, it's not a huge volume in terms of pages, but a huge volume of knowledge. That's all I meant to say. Very good indeed. Another set of books which helped me tremendously, which I love and still refer to from time to time, is the volume 1 and 2 of David Vizard's How to Build Horsepower. Those two books, volume 1 and 2, and that goes everywhere from old school carburation into fuel injection, into supercharging and turbocharging. And it's an oldie but goodie. I had the unique opportunity to meet David Vizard in the flesh at PRI. Great guy, extremely knowledgeable. Really, I appreciate all the kind words you guys provide to me, but this gentleman probably forgot more than I can remember. He probably forgot more than I even know. He's just a great guy, someone who is just absolutely fantastic, and you can learn significantly from him. So, MSPGY7, pick up the Power Secrets and How to Build Horsepower Volumes 1 and 2. You will not go wrong. I'm not getting any endorsement from SA Books. I'm just sharing something that helped me tremendously and just been, just great to me, So thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. I may have to, Olaf, I know you want a shop tour. First, I have some very secretive stuff here and over there that I have embargo I can't show. Secondly, I have so much equipment going on here. It's kind of hard for me to get everything and walk around. But what I will do, I promise, before SEMA starts, I will have the opportunity to come on by and show you guys when I have more cars in here and the secret ones kind of outside. I promise you, I'll do something indeed, Shomari Kai from YouTube is saying, I want to do what you do. I'm already a good technician. Where should I start? We're definitely trying to find a job in a place that is a speed shop. And above and beyond that, if you go as crazy as I have, it's not a bad idea to study something engineering. It's not a bad idea at all. But yes, getting exposure to a speed shop is the way to do. I started my journey in a shop called RS Machine, or RS Motorworks. We even started that shop years ago. And then when everyone started doing their own thing, I continued in my corporate job and then opened up Bisimoto in 2006. So it's been a great journey indeed, So thank you so much. Hi man, says Babani on YouTube, 555. Thank you so much for joining. Jonathan Walker says, hey BC, what are your thoughts on the in-wheel hub motors like the Orbis wheel? So I haven't driven those. Me outside looking in, I'm a huge advocate of unsprung weight. Huge advocate of that. Meaning I want unsprung weight to be as light as possible. Adding weight into a wheel, I don't know how well that will fare in the handling department, but then again, I cannot assume. I'm hoping to talk to the people at Orbis this SEMA because I gather they'll be there. Maybe I'll have an opportunity, which I will cherish, to be able to drive one of their cars and have firsthand share my thoughts with you. In terms of the type of technology that exists, it's really, really good. Oh, I got a gift here on TikTok. Thank you so much for the gifts. Appreciate that indeed. Appreciate you. That being said, let's keep an open mind. We do, based upon a request from my good friend here on Instagram, asking me to please get into, does Corvolt get into a Ionic 5N? I'm making that happen in the next couple weeks. We should have an N here to play around with, and I'll do a live with you guys. We'll see what we can do with the guys from Orbis and see if we can make something happen. Okay, so hang in there, Jonathan Walker. Hopefully I can have something good coming your way. All right, bro saying oil now, let's go, says Jay Khaled. I sell all kind of performance parts, all type. And to be honest with you, for those of you who missed it, I was talking about the Purell break-in oil, which is amazing. I've even made power on this and use it as a reference oil when testing as well. So it's really, really good stuff and protects engines. It's also the regular feel that's pure synthetic group 4 and group 5 base stocks mixed together with a lot of zinc. Also as a performance part. On my inside that I raced, I picked up 20 wheel using the Purell 10W30. So I'm a 5W30 and also 10W40. So it's amazing stuff. So that being said, yes, I sell all the performance parts, camshafts, pistons, rods, exhaust intake, valves, you name it, we sell it. So that being said, I do, no problem. Okay, yeah, answer your question, hopefully MSPGY7, hopefully you got my insight on the books to pick up, which is pretty nice indeed. Hey BZ, says Banzai 888, what do you bring to SEMA? Okay, what we have so far, what can I say without giving too much away? Okay, I'm bringing an English luxury vehicle. I'm bringing a petrol 935. I'm bringing 2 electric Porsche 935s. And 1 is in discussion. Wow, who gave me this fireworks stuff? Oh my God, that's crazy. Well, thank you for that. So that's why I have coming on Banzai 888. Should be a really good SEMA. So I'll keep you posted. If I can get this one last car in, oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, you know? Corvolt says, I like the AMCCU, but holy moly, it's expensive for the specs. So Corvolt, I may beg to differ for you. So I'll share with you my mindset in terms of why I like the AMCCU. For those of you who don't know, the AMCCU is the combined charging unit. It combines a DC to DC converter, which in electric cars is like their alternator. It takes the high voltage, let's say 400, 800, whatever the volts are, and it brings it down and converts it to a 13, 14 volt system. So all your electronics can run like a normal car. You know how you have a regular alternator and the engine turns and the crankshaft is cogged directly to an alternator and that turns it and it puts out like 12, 14 volts? This does the same thing, but electronically by being a bit of a glorified step-down transformer, okay? Then the other part of that, of the combined charging unit, is it acts as an onboard charger. The chargers you see hanging around people's homes, you may see some level 2 chargers at certain public places. You go to a supermarket, you may see something from Blink that just had the one small connector. Those are called chargers, but they're really not chargers, they're really safety units. They're electric safety units that provide AC current to an electric car. The vehicle itself has an onboard charger which takes the AC and converts it to DC. It takes the alternating current from the wall and converts it to direct current that the batteries use. And then in the motor, you have these inverters that take the direct current and convert it to AC and allow it. Anyway, let's look at the CCU. So the CCU is a combined unit of the DC-DC alternator and the onboard charging unit that takes AC and converts it to DC to charge your batteries. When, for many years, I used to buy those separately, I used to get a 1500 watt or 1.5 kilowatt DC to DC, air cooled, and it cost me about $1,000. Then I'll get a 3.3, I started with 1.5, but a 3.3 kilowatt onboard charger that cost me another $1,000. So it's like $2,000 for just this unit that's air cooled, 1500 peak, all the way down to a 3.3 kilowatt hour charger, which can take me, for a 60 kilowatt battery pack, it could take me up to 10 hours to charge, right? At home, if all my amps are in place. But the AMCCU gives me much more amps for my onboard DC-DC, so I can power everything in my car, sound system, amps, you name it, a lot more than 1500 amps peak. And then it's water cooled, On top of that, my onboard charger is double the amount. And what I saw at EV Fest last week was some people were so tired of having a 3.3 charger that they doubled them. They put two 3.3s. So now, if I want to match what AM has, I need two 3.3s, that's almost $2,000, and one paltry air-cooled setup for my DC-DC. For about $2,500, the AEM CCU offers me 6.6 water-cooled compact altogether with a much more powerful DC-DC converter. So I like the fact that my packaging is much more compact. I like that my wiring is simplified. I don't have to have these crazy wires in terms of being able to enable them. I can just go ahead and set up via CAN, which is very easy for me as well. So packaging looks great, water cooled. I don't have to worry about my charger shutting down on a hot day. It's great. So Kavolt, if you haven't purchased anything yet, let me know. I'll help you out. I'll help you out indeed. I'll give you a great deal. Give me a call, shoot me a text, we'll make it happen. Shoot me a DM, we'll make it happen, you know? What craziness do you have brewing, says Samuel Lloyd? A lot. This blue thing right here is gonna be north of 600 horsepower with over 700 pound-foot of torque. That 450 horsepower in a bus. You know how scary that is, driving that? That is my first OEM build ever, the 533 horsepower CRZ. That is a Porsche Cayman that I haven't started up in a long time. We did an engine swap on that. I'll probably have Zach look into that. That'd be a pretty good car to get started. Right here next to me is a 1300 horsepower monster. That's a bit of a secret. I can't show you guys that yet. We got some rollers turning on a vehicle right there that's north of 640 horsepower as well. We have a 930, another 930, we have a lot going on here. Just crazy madness here, both petrol and electric. So yeah, we're doing some good stuff. What are you doing to the CRZ, BC? I'm actually trying to update one or two things. The map sensor on that, because here's the crazy thing. That thing made 533 horsepower, was destroying transmissions. So I had to detune it to 330 to the wheels to allow it to not break transmissions all the time. But I want to update the map sensor. I think I had a 5-bar. I'm trying to put like a 2-bar in there. That's all it really needs. You know, I have a 5-bar, so the resolution is pretty high. So that's what that's doing there. Just sitting there, and if you want it, we're more than happy to sell. Just sitting right here, not doing anything, by all means. All right, let's see here. Greeting from Oklahoma City, says Trey Haywood. Thank you so much, Trey. Appreciate your presence on this wonderful Tech Tuesday, which is much cooler than what we've seen the past few weeks. It's been brutal. My team, we were suffering. And now it's almost the opposite. It's getting cooler. Next week's supposed to be a little more warmer, but not as crazy as triple digits we had. It's so crazy this weekend coming here to work, because I was here at the office trying some stuff out, and then the weekend before, it was triple digits. I was burning up in the car. It was pretty crazy. Anyway, nonetheless, wait, you need the AM dash to inject CAN commands? The VCU can do that internally? Oh, Kobo, I think you misunderstood. Okay. Here is kind of the chain of events that I have in my car, because once again, I'm here to share everything that I've done. The VCU in its native setup with the AM BMSs will cascade information all across the network to turn on your charger for fast charging, level 2 fast charging that is, will turn on your DC to DC whenever the ignition key is on. It'll power up all the auxiliary or adjacent power distribution units. It can do that, no problem whatsoever. But what if you're crazy like me? I'm trying to use a Avantix CCU, okay? That allows me to, or better yet, Avantix EVSC kind of setup that allows me for using fast charging courtesy of CCS, okay? So Avantix CCS controller, but I want to use my Orion to be able to do that. But when I'm charging, I want my VCU to stay off and allow the Orion and Avantix to communicate. And by doing that, since I'm sending commands to the onboard charger to make things happy, I want to use that also for my DC to DC. So I now have my AEM on to communicate to the rest of the car, to the inverter, to my drive unit and all that fun stuff, the cascade inverter, everything is happy. I use my AEM VCU to send data to my dash so I can see all the important parameters. The AEM also communicates with my Orion to get information around battery pack, state of charge, battery voltage, any kind of discharge limits, any type of charge limits, just making sure that everyone works happy hand in hand. And my dash also sees all that data as well. But I do have a set of digital CAN-based analog gauges in the car. And that wants to see a certain type of language that's AM-based, but unfortunately for me, the data that it wants to see comes from the AEM 200 database. And also, some of the data comes from the Orion. So what have I done? I use my AM dash as a control center, as almost like a translator, to take data from my CAN bus network and transmit it to the dash. And by doing that, transmit to the dash now reads properly and it's happy because it sees the language it wants to see. My AM VCU transmits what it wants to. My Orion transmits what it wants to. Commands come from the Orion into the CCU to be happy and communicates with my Advantix to make sure that I have proper CCS charging as well. Everyone is happy. So yes, I do tend to use my AM dash as a CAN conversion. I can grab data from the entire bus network and transmit it in any language, any bits, any amount of information that I want to have happen. And it's great. I even communicate, in addition to the PDUs from AEM, with a race pack ED on board as well. So I have a lot going on. It's really good. It's really a good, happy family. The beautiful thing is that whenever you drive into the cars, all you have to do is sit in it, turn the key, and enjoy. While everything's happening behind you, we do all the hard work, as you can know, co-vote and make things happen for everyone. But net, you want to have an enjoyable driving experience that feels analog when you sit in the car, but there are a ton of electronics around you to make sure you're safe and enjoyable. Planet Houston is in house, courtesy of Alberto Capatillo T. Thank you so much for joining this Tech Tuesday. Wow, that's a badass Porsche, says R35, R13. Yes, thank you so much. I'm sure the client will find that very appealing as well. I got a rose from Campo on TikTok. Thank you, Campo, for sending me a rose. Appreciate that. I love flowers. I want to, let's see. Hi, man, says Baron55. Thank you so much. Hey, BC, what are your thoughts? Oh, we just talked about it already. No problem. Thank you so much for those of you watching on YouTube Live. Almost repeated a question and answered it again. It has so much going on. Jalen Ross says, hola, BC. Thank you so much. Jalen Ross, appreciate your presence. It was great seeing you recently. Real red for you, neighbor. Mike is going to be sad for the dyno. The 63 Falcon is still in the works. Until things change, I have to be very careful, neighbor, real red for you, with the dyno tuning, because they are coming down on shops like ours. They want to make an example of us on what we're doing. It's just really sad, but I get it. That's why, maybe I'll convince Mike to go EV. He can have a lot of fun and not have to worry about emissions ever again. Let's see. I've only had all motor H series, built headed package, and 85. No boost. Yeah, boost is really great. It's really great indeed. Great indeed. I love boost. All across the board. When can I get hired to work for you, says Galen Ross. If you have what it takes, please write to us, send us a resume at sales@bisimoto.com, and we're more than happy to make things happen, Speaking of enjoying cars, what's your favorite power to weight ratio? My favorite, the least amount of weight, the highest amount of power. There's no ratio that I say is too much. I haven't experienced it yet. I just haven't. So until I reach that eclipse where it's scary enough for me, and that's where it'll be a problem. And I'm not saying scary where handling is an issue, just everything is proper power to weight. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Let's see here. BC says Lucky Life 2068. I'm a friend of Alex. I have a few Porsches. Well done. I love how you think. And I have had over 19 of them over the past 23 years. Very good. I have a question. What about lightened flywheels in the 997 list? What are your thoughts? Absolutely perfection. I love lightened flywheels in any of our M96 or M97 power plants. They are godsend. I have an M97 setup right there in my showroom. The M16 935 has a 996 twin turbo, 997 gearbox, also with a lightened flywheel. The lightened flywheel gives you the opportunity of, dare I say, almost like free power. And what I mean by that, not only does it doesn't, if you put a dyno, you won't see any appreciable increases in horsepower, but the flywheel being lightened allows for much quicker acceleration, which is amazing. You don't need as much energy to be put into it to get that momentum up. And a few of you may ask, what is he talking about? What the heck is a flywheel? Well, on a internal combustion engine setup, with a manual gearbox, There is this large device that looks like a record, like a disc, and it bolts to the engine, and the clutch is mated to that. The flywheels are usually heavy. Sometimes they have dual mass, where they're two different masses moving with each other. And the reason to have it in such a heavy way is to dampen the pulses coming out of the internal combustion engine. As I've mentioned many times in our Tech Tuesday, the internal combustion engine is nothing but a glorified energy converter. It takes chemical energy of oxygen in the air and the fuel, and through ignition generates this heat energy conversion that does work upon the piston tops, which then convert to mechanical energy that go up and down, and using a crankshaft turns that up and down motion to rotational motion. Now, unfortunately for us, that doesn't come in a very smooth pattern. When you have pistons going up and down, it kind of jolts to the crankshaft, and you need something to dampen those jolts. So the flywheel has to be heavy, so when you drive, it feels nice and smooth. The caveat is that that heavy flywheel is the enemy of performance. It takes your engine a lot of work to be able to accelerate that flywheel, and it makes the vehicle feel a little slower. When you put a lightweight flywheel, you automatically notice snappier performance in terms of acceleration. Your car accelerates much quicker, making it much faster as well. The only caveat is your idle may be slightly rough, and when you put your air conditioning on, it may be a little bit more rougher in terms of idle. So if you don't mind a slightly rougher idle, which I actually like, a light flywheel is a godsend. And when you have companies like I think ASCO, I think Action Clutch has some stuff as well, these companies can help you with lightweight flywheel that also has the timing marks and timing teeth on them. It's a godsend. It really wakes up your car. With your natural accelerator boosted, I'm a huge advocate of lightweight flywheels. On my drag car, my race car Insight, I should probably show you guys that next week. You won't believe how lightweight my flywheel looks. It looks like Swiss cheese. Seriously. I took a regular flywheel and put a bunch of windows in it to make it as light as possible, because acceleration was the name of the game. Hope that helps. Do you have to upgrade your crank pulley if you do that, says Student Drift? I didn't have to, but I am really not an advocate of fifth wave harmonics, which are quite damaging. So each time I build a high performance setup, I've had the opportunity to put in, period, an ATI damper. Luckily for our friend here, Lucky Life 2068, he has a Porsche with a flat 6. Flat engines are extremely well balanced, so you don't have those harmonics. So he can be just fine with a standard aluminum lightweight crank pulley on the other end, which is factory, non-balanced, no crazy stuff with it. I would say about it, it's not dampened, no issues at all. Put it flywheel and have no problems whatsoever. And if you had a inline 4 Honda, which has a lot of fifth wave harmonics going on, if you had some kind of V6 or V8, anytime I do performance above and beyond a significant amount of factory performance, I do put an ATN damper to absorb those vibrations. But the flywheel, as long as it's balanced, has no issues with that whatsoever. Either way. All right. Hey, Exo Truck, good seeing you. Hopefully I get to see you soon. What's up from Hawaii, brother, says Darth Deshawn. Thank you so much for joining this Lovely Tech Tuesday. It's so good to be in this environment that's much cooler instead of hotter. BC, have you experimented with the SH AWD at all? And that's, I'm sure, from Honda Acura. Says Darth Deshawn. No, I have not. I've not had the opportunity to play around those chassis yet. With the all-wheel drive steer, I've not had the opportunity to do that. Able Overland Supply, good seeing you, brother. How are you? Love seeing you at all those events. If you love overlanding and you need some modifications to your truck, whether it's American, Japanese, you name it, even English, he's a man. AVO. He's very connected, can take good care of you. Drove the Must Subaru. I'm trying to see what you said, Extra Truck. Drove the most Subaru ever built down to the tail of the dragon, down to the tail of the dragon. The most Subaru ever built. The most ever. I see you went to the tail of the dragon over the weekend. Great, but I don't quite understand what you did. Please let me know again. How's it going, Steph Living Garage? All the way from TikTok. Appreciate you. I'm doing well. I used to run a BC cam in my boosted D16 way back in the day. I'm telling you, till today, the Bisimoto D-Series camshafts reign supreme. There's no technology out there. Even when people try to knock it off, they cannot do a good job doing it. Big thanks for sharing knowledge, says MSPGY7. My pleasure indeed. Have a great day as well, R35, R13. Always love seeing you here. Oh, drove the most reliable Subaru ever built to the Tail Dragon. Wow, please do share more experience. I love to hear that indeed. Good luck with SEMA, says Olaf 911. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you indeed. Have a pleasant afternoon. Okay, let's see here. That's a lot of projects, man, says KB Design Official. The team and I don't know any better. Sad but true. We don't know any better at all. Never forget the BC all-wheel drive wagon, says Anthony Soto. Can't forget it, Tony. It's right there in the showroom. You've done crazy things with both gas and electric power plants. Yes, I have. But have you had any thoughts on ideas about hydrogen-powered cars? So Jonathan Walker, you're forgiven, because if you were a regular member of the Bisimoto Tech Tuesday, you would know that hydrogen is on my radar. Don't be surprised in the next calendar year seeing something hydrogen from the Bisimoto stable. And I'm not talking about hydrogen fuel cells, where we consume hydrogen to charge them electric batteries and then use an electric power plant. I'm talking about using hydrogen as a combustion fuel. Coming soon, coming. But great question, Jonathan Walker. And by all means, you know how I think. Ikenna, good seeing you. Ikenna Zwebe. Greetings, one. How are you? Hopefully you are doing great. Sounds like the cost to be spread all over SEMA. What booths would they be in, says Banzai 888. Great question. In Central Hall is pretty much the main section. We have a petrol car that would be a, how should I say, a proper, I'm trying to think of the exact words, similar to what Moby was last year. It's like a proper showcase vehicle in Central Hall, in the Central Hall kind of showcase area. We will have 2 cars at the SEMA's Toyo Trepass, which is really the place to be. It's like the Mecca if you want to go to SEMA. SEMA's a Mecca, but within the Mecca is another Mecca known as Toyo Trepass. So we have 2 cars there. Then, of course, how can we forget the Future Tech area? If you love future technology, Future Tech is the place to be. That particular area, you can see hydrogen cars, low emission cars, hybrids, electric vehicles, natural gas, you name it. Anything that has to do with future technologies of mobility and performance, we plan on having definitely 1, but of course I've got 2 vehicles there as well. Then there's the African American Automobile Association. They're right there in Central Hall where Chevy used to be front and center in the middle of Central Hall. We should have another beautiful Porsche right there representing the African American community. So we have quite a few there. It'll be a very good SEMA indeed, if not the best, one of the best. That is a CRZ behind me, not Joseph, not Joseph. It is. Hello, Uncle Elmer. Good seeing you, brother. Uncle Elmer is someone who's been a great advocate of Bisimoto for many, many years at Aries Pistons. So thank you so much, Uncle, for joining, which is pretty nice. Says Covolt. I mean, the CCU is expensive relative to modern alternatives. The Tesla Model 3 onboard charge has a DC-DC built-in and charges at 13 kilowatt peak, which is massive. It's more work to set up, but they're only, well, I want something that is new with a warranty. I really don't want to pull Tesla DC to DC. I like the 13 kilowatt peak, but I haven't played with that at all. And if you do have a CAN DBC, send it to me. I'd love to take a look at it and see how easy it is to work with. I'll be more than happy to hear that. You're a genius in case no one told you, says not Joseph. Thank you, you're too kind. Once again, no man is an island. I am nothing without my team. Without them, none of these projects come to light. So it's not just me, it's a team effort, and we do have a lot of fun here. Yep, that is the 530 horsepower CRZ, absolutely, by all means. EV Willy Bus, yes, it's gonna be crazy. I don't think I wanna drive that thing full tilt, you know? Mid-rate motoring, good seeing you as well. So guys, it's almost been an hour. Let me see if I have one more question that I'll have to head out. I remember when I first started off, you came a long way, fam. Love what you do. Thank you so much. And what's your name here? Rum Bookaz, TJ, all the way from TikTok. Appreciate your kind words and support, indeed. Definitely cooler for sure, especially up here. And I can't believe what you're in the Antelope Valley. You were probably suffering the past few weeks, you know, which is pretty crazy. Best turbo for the Street K24 FG1. I like the G series from, definitely, I love the G series from Garrett. So if you're gonna do a Street K24 and you want something that's very, how should I say, spool happy, spools very quickly, and very efficient, extremely reliable, I love the G series. The G35 is just amazing, gives you some room to grow in case you wanna push the envelope later on. With the K24, you can do 400 horsepower reliably with a good tune all day and all night for many, many years to come. You're gonna push the envelope later on to have room to grow. The G35 from Garrett, It's a by hands far an amazing turbocharger. Good luck with that, says Rule for you. I will try, I know, right? I think I'll have to have him drive one, and then I think his mind will change. That's what happened to me, and that's how I got a lot of clients. So they drove one of our cars, like, that's it, shut up and take my money. It was really great indeed, you know? The best engineer in the world, says Brandon. I may beg to differ, but I appreciate the kind words. You're too kind indeed, you know? Lucky Life 2068 says, sure, any brands of flywheels you prefer? I like the Action Clutch stuff, and in the Porsche world, the ASCO. So Action Clutch and ASCO, those are two companies that I find that I've had great success with in terms of lightened flywheels, you know? When are we going to Irwindale, says Gary Sugeto Mayosinette. I need to go soon. Jonathan and I haven't gone in a long time. We need to look at the calendar. I'll definitely make it a point to let you guys know, but I really need to be out there soon. Well, guys, it was a slice of heaven as always. Thank you so much for joining on this particular Tech Tuesday. I appreciate each and every one of you. We do have to get back to work. I haven't eaten anything since early morning. I think I had like a small croissant at about a little after 6 a.m. But anyway, have a pleasant afternoon, guys. Look forward to seeing you next week. And leading up to SEMA, we should have some exciting stuff. Once again, if you haven't, reach out to guys at Pure USA. They're doing sponsorship. They've been more than happy to help you out. Let them know Bisimoto sent you. And we'll take it from there. In the meantime, take care. Have a safe balance of the week. Stay tuned. See you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.